Hi, and welcome to More Influence and Less Arguments in Your Family. I'm Dr. Michelle Pedicola. I am the founder and CEO of Secrets of Life and Death, which is both a learning program and also a documentary film series, and also the CEO and founder of Second Chance Secrets. And I'm here to present this workshop to help you to deal with issues related to the shelter in home from the COVID virus, but also to help you in a deeper way that the COVID virus is actually giving you an opportunity to look closer at your relationships and see if you can up-level them. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. I want to begin by asking you to post in the chat your reason for signing up for this workshop. Why are you here today? What do you hope to learn? And so please go ahead and put that in. And while you're doing that, I'm going to share a little bit more about myself. So I'm a PhD, psychosocial analyst, psychosomatic practitioner. I also have over 30 years of spiritual teaching. My purpose and what I do is I empower women leaders, change makers, healers, people who want to make a difference in this world. I empower them by healing the wounds connected with a significant relationship loss that is holding them back or sabotaging their wealth, their health, and their relationships. So that's the kind of work I do. I'm going to just check and see. Bonnie says, perspective on family communications, complex co-parenting. Really good question. And then CJ, I teach people to resolve resentment, to decrease conflict, and wanted to hear what you're saying about it. Yes, thank you, CJ. You're an awesome coach in your own right. And Jerry is also is saying that in private, has some relationship that she wants to work with. And that's what we're here to do, is how can we work with our relationships? And how can we do better in our relationships? How can we be more influencers and less disempowered in our relationships? And that's what I'm going to be focusing on today. I'm going to begin by sharing a story about myself so that you can understand how this impacts, and to also understand that underlying your issues is you, is early childhood patterns that we develop in order to survive in our crazy families, and that impact us throughout our lives until we actually become aware of them and do something to change them. And the good news is, yes, you can change them. The bad news is it takes work, it takes effort. So my story. This is a story that is a little exposing, a little vulnerable, but I'm sharing it with you because I'm hoping that you will go a little deeper and share your story as well. So a few months ago, I was working on a new website. The website is Second Chance Secrets. And I was working with one of these programs, Wix, to do it. Hi, Olive, for joining. Don't worry, we're recording, but I won't be recording anything that you're in. Anyway, I was working on this website, and first I was working on the banner, and I asked my husband, who is an artist, an amazing, creative person, to take a look and give me his advice. Well, he was complaining about this photograph and that picture and that image, and he didn't like it at all. So I went back to the drawing board and did it again. And I showed it to him. And this time it was even worse. It was like I wasn't succeeding at all. I went back to the drawing board again. And this time I put together the first page of my website. Well, he said, this is like everything else. This is so boring. And look at what this is doing wrong. So I showed him my coach's website because I was modeling myself after her. And he trashed that. Now I was really activated. I couldn't do anything. I was so upset. I went out for a walk. I said, I just need to get a fresh air. And I went and walked in the cemetery, which is one of my favorite places to walk because it's very peaceful there. Rest in peace. And I'm thinking about this, and oh my gosh, this is so familiar. This is my people pleasing. And then I said to myself, well, why am I trying to please him? I mean, after all, he's not my client. He isn't even my client type. So I thought about that for a while, and it came to me. I wanted his buy-in. I wanted his approval because I was afraid I was going to lose him. Now, why was I afraid of losing him? Well, my first husband, over 30 years ago, left me just when I was stepping into my power, just when I had finished my PhD, just when I had gotten a promotion in the company that he got fired from. He abandoned me. He left me for another woman. Now, the rational side of myself, and by the way, I have plenty of that, she said, oh, midlife crisis. He was in his 40s and he had lost his job and he couldn't get another job. Midlife crisis. But the inner child in me, the wounded child said, abandonment, betrayal. Why? And here's the real important point, is that when I was 2 years old, my father, who was the sun and moon for me, this man saved my life when I went hurling down the basement steps at 2 years old in my walker. I adored this man. He disappeared. From my 2-year-old point of view, he disappeared. Actually, he was in the army and he was transferred to Japan. And my mother, who already had 2 other children and was overwhelmed and trying to move a whole household to Japan, had no time for me. And so in my 2-year-old mind, I decided something was wrong with me. I had made a mistake. I should not be empowered, because of 2 years old, you're really starting to come into your own. And I decided to tamp down my feelings and to become what I call a people pleaser. Maybe you recognize that particular behavior, a people pleaser. And it worked really well for a long time. And then it didn't work. So there it is, people pleasing. I wanted to please my husband in this particular case. I didn't want to lose my husband, but I also wanted to be empowered. I knew that if I did not move forward, I would be stuck. And I mean, I'm telling you, I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should just give up this whole coaching business. And I said, no, I'm going to go home and I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to do it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to work. And I went home and I said to my husband, you know, thank you very much for your advice. I'm going to work this out on my own, and I already have a coach. And then I went and I actually built the first page of my website in one day. So I'm not asking you to give up your relationships, but I am inviting you to think about how it is that you are giving away your power. And what I find is that there are two dynamics, actually there are more than 2 dynamics, 2 patterns that I run into a lot. And one is the people pleaser, and the other is what I call the controller or manager. And I used to think that one came from the family where you had this abandonment issue, and the other, the controller, came from people who were abused or were in a chaotic situation. But I got to tell you, I see both patterns. And in both patterns, what you're trying to do is you're trying to control the world out there. You're trying to impact other people out there and to get them to love you or to behave, as in the controller. And neither of them work very well in relationships. And so the first thing you want to do is start to change that pattern. And that's the work that I do with my clients, is to help them change that pattern. Because underlying that pattern are some beliefs about yourself. Now, beliefs are important to change, but they're not the only thing. You actually have to take action to change those patterns. So now I'm going to open things up, stop a minute and check and see if there's anything else. uh, did anybody's put their comments in? And actually, I'm going to open this up for you to share with me. Let's see, what's the next question? What are the biggest issues that you have with in your family relationships? What are the biggest issues you have with other people that you would like to share? And I'm going to take myself, I'm going to stop the recording for a minute and let you share. This is your opportunity. And I want you to keep it to about a minute so that everybody gets a chance. So the question was, why are there people out there that are so self-centered and so self-absorbed that they don't do the work that is required for having a decent relationship? And sometimes you find that those people are even, you're having a relationship with them and you wonder why they're that way. My experience is that there are so many damaged people out there in this world because we are all subject to trauma in childhood because our parents didn't know how to do it right in the first place because they were subjected to trauma. I think about my own childhood. My mother was the daughter of an alcoholic and a mother who was cold as Alaska and used to stop speaking for 2 and 3 weeks at a time. And my father lost his mother when he was 10 years old. She drove away with his older brother and never returned.
Oh,
yeah, so that's pretty traumatic. And so I look at my own life and I say, wow, my father just went to Japan and I saw him a few months later. What's the big deal? But that early childhood experience has impact. And if you have no way of knowing that it's had impact, you'll just go on your life like that. It actually took me almost 50 years to realize my people-pleasing pattern and to break it. And so I'm really encouraging you to do it now, to change the pattern, because it really holds you back in your life. If you are pleasing, if you are accommodating people, or if you're trying to control people, you are putting your energy out into the world. You're putting your energy out to get what you need, what you needed as a child. So the controller, she's looking for safety. She's trying to keep things so that she's safe. And I have worked with many women who had that dynamic, and oftentimes they control their partners to death. Or the partner finally gets fed up with being controlled and walks away. And the controller doesn't want to let go of the control because they feel if they aren't controlling, if they're not trying to fix that person, or if they're not irreplaceable, they will lose that partner. Now, the other pattern, which is the pleaser, she's doing it, it's a little sweeter, it's a little nicer, but it is every bit as manipulative because you want the other person to be there for you. But sometimes it is really obnoxious because you're so super nice and you're so super good. And how can you treat me because I'm so super nice and so super good? And then periodically you get really pissed off when you don't get the results that you expect, because the little child inside is saying, oh, I did everything. Why didn't it work? How dare you? How dare you not come back? So what's the change? What's the different pattern? The different pattern is to learn that you're an adult and you don't have to do that anymore to survive. You needed to do that as a child because that enabled you to survive a difficult family. Jerry, I'm going to mute you because you're making noise. And so you learn these patterns, but as an adult, you can change them. So of course, you need to be aware of them. And then you also need to have a strategy for changing them. And what I've generally found is that's difficult to do on your own because your inner child is usually in control and managing you. And she has at her disposal an array of chemistry in your body to bring you to your knees. That's why I, in my own journey, worked with many mentors. I did a lot of work on myself, and I didn't do it alone. And I didn't do it with my partner. I actually went and got outside help. So now we're going to do a little demonstration. And what I want you to do, let me think. Am I going to do the tapping or the inner? I'm going to do the inner place because that's the one that is my favorite. So I want you to think about the person or people that you're having issues with right now. I want you to think about what they've been doing and how that makes you feel. And then what I want you to do is I want you to find out where that sensation is in your body. So I'm going to do a little grounding exercise to get you into your body. I love tapping into the body because I believe that the body tells us the truth. And I'm going to walk you through this. So go ahead and gentle your eyes or close your eyes and start to take deep, slow breaths. Take 3 deep, slow breaths. And when you exhale, I want you to exhale out the soles of your feet, imagining that there are roots or tendrils going deep, deep, deep into the earth, all the way to the very center of the earth. And I want you to bring up those tendrils, those roots, the energy of earth. That solidity, safety, security, compassion, beauty, abundance, endurance. And I want you to bring that energy all the way up through your legs, through your torso, and into your heart. And I want you to let that energy commingle with your own heart energy so that it begins to expand your heart energy. And now in the next breath, I want you to send that breath out through the top of your head. And I want you to send it out into the heavens. Let that breath reach out like a branching tree all the way up into the sky, reaching out to the sun and the moon, reaching all the way out further, further out, out, out to all the planets in the galaxy. And if you know what the different planets are, I want you to bring back the energy of each of those planets, bringing them in through the top of your head, through your neck, and into your heart. And then I want you to send that breath out again, and this time to go all the way out to touch all the stars in the Milky Way galaxy and bring back that energy. Bring back that energy back into, down, down, down into your heart, and let it connect with your heart energy. And then going one step further and reaching out past the Milky Way galaxy to all the galaxies, all the light, the universal voice, the divine dance of the universe, and bringing that energy back into you, back into your heart, and letting that energy connect with your heart. And let there be a circuit that is formed between the energy of earth and the energy of the heavens, so that you have the guidance of the heavens, calling in ascended masters, angels, ancestors, whoever you can call on to provide you with guidance, or your own higher self, and having the support and safety from earth. And now I want you to find out where in your body you were holding the feeling that was activated by the behavior of those people or that person that you were interacting with. I want you to go into your body and find out, where is it being held? Is it being held in your heart, in your solar plexus, which is the area above the belly button and below your diaphragm? Is it being held in your sacral area, which is where your uterus is, where the energy of creation is? Or is it in your buttocks or your legs or your feet? Where are you holding this energy? And you're going to feel it as you scan through your body. You're going to feel it as either hard, or sharp or constricting or aching. It will have some sort of negative energy, some sort of energy that's uncomfortable. I shouldn't say negative, but it's going to be uncomfortable. And I want you to focus your spotlight of your attention on that space. And I want you to breathe into that space. And with each breath, I want you to send down your energy of love to that area. And I want you to go down into that area, and I want you to tell that area that you are listening, that that area has your attention right here, right now. And keep breathing into that area. And keep sending it love. And watch if that sensation begins to change. Does it start to relax a little bit? Does it start to open? Does it have a color? Does the color change? Does it expand? Does it squirrel away to some other place? Follow it. Follow that, because it might be shy. It might want to run away. It might want to hide. And keep following it. Keep sending it love. And tell that part of your body, I'm here to hear you. Please tell me what you need from me right now. What do you need right now to release this pain, this hurt? What do you need that I can do? And the answer could be either in a visual, it could be a smell, it could be a word, it could be an idea. You will know that it's right because you will feel a connection to your heart, that it will kind of register in your heart as the right feeling. So just take a moment to see if you can get the message of that area of your body which is struggling right now. So just go ahead and feel in. And when you have an answer, I want you to go ahead and put it in the chat so that you have a record of it, that you have put it out there, that you have given it birth, you have given it life, you have brought it into reality. So go ahead and take your time. Okay, anybody else have something to share? It's really good to go ahead and type something in. Okay, so what are you asking? What am I asking? What was the message that that part of your body told you? What do you need to do? Or was there simply a relaxation and maybe no message, but at least an easing of the tension? So at least let me know if you experienced any change. Great, CJ, awesome. How about you, Olive? Did anything shift for you? What area was it in your body? You can put it in the chat.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was it?
It was probably the solar plex,
Okay.
the rib area.
Yes, that makes sense. Did you get
Yeah.
any kind of a message
I'm
from
sorry,
your
my
solar?
connection's not that good.
Did you get any kind of message from your solar plexus? Did it tell you, did your solar plexus tell you anything that you need to
Message?
do? Message, yes.
A message?
Yes. It could be a vision, or it could be an actual direction or instruction. No, nothing? Did it
Well,
change?
it felt like I needed um, um, to be considering myself. It seemed to be.
Beautiful. Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Great. Okay,
Yeah.
so now what I would like is for you to share any kind of takeaways from this exercise. By the way, Olive, that's awesome. That's really great. That means, that says to me that you actually can listen to yourself. And that's a really valuable practice. Now, the next thing you have to do is you actually have to take action. So what action might you take to take care of yourself, to listen more to yourself?
Well, I really like the thinking of, you know, the the outer galaxy being with us,
Yes.
something like that.
Okay.
Um, I really like that. That's very comforting. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not alone.
Yes.
So
That,
I've got a whole army, like
yes.
an army.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Support.
Okay, great. Okay, good. So remembering that, maybe when your son looks away, might be helpful.
Mhm.
Jerry, do you have a takeaway that you want to share with us?
Okay, now can you hear me?
I can.
I was typing.
Yeah.
Uh, One real big takeaway, Michelle, is we talked about the people pleaser and the controller.
Yes.
And I had no idea that they were parallel and kind of like seeking the same thing and to
Yes.
one with the same feelings. So it's an opportunity to continue our work together because I work with you right now and you're
Yes.
wonderful.
Thank you.
And you
Thank
didn't
you.
pay me to say that.
Yeah, no, and I didn't pay you to say that. Yes, yes, and that is recognizing that actually both of them are seeking the same, well, whether the similar dynamic. Now, the controller is usually trying to get safety, whereas the pleaser wants approval. They're running around for the likes, for people saying, yes, you're good, you're okay. And Olive, I think that's a little bit of what you are experiencing when you get that funny look from your son, is as long as you're looking out into the world, into the universe to give you that approval, you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable to rejection. So part of your journey is to empower yourself. And that, of course, is the work that I do. And I'm going to tell you how in a moment you can reach out to me and get some more support if that fits with you. So going to CJ, what about you? What kind of takeaways did you get?
That I need to tune into my body more and pick out the stress points.
Uh-huh. And where was the stress? Do you notice?
My abdomen.
Uh-huh. Upper or lower, below or above the belly button?
Below.
Okay.
It was
So,
actually where my ovaries used to be,
uh-huh.
basically.
Okay. Right. And that still is in chakra
Mm-hmm.
dynamics, is your area of creativity. And there
Ah,
may be, yes. So that of course, that's where we make our babies, right? And
right.
the babies could be real flesh and blood babies, or they can be our mission, our creative source. And if there's something that's blocking, or there was something that you were told that you were not good enough, or that your creativity wasn't important, there may be still some pain and restriction of energy. And part of the pain is that the energy is trapped there. And it actually, the energy, you are a cycle of energy. from heaven to down to earth and back up again. There's this conduit, this circulation that needs to happen. And when we have these blocks, they actually prevent that energy from going through. And so the energy gets a little stagnant. So you do want to work on that. And there are a variety of things. And if you want to reach out to me and we can talk about that, we can do that. But there are things that you can do to get that circulation going. And Bonnie, I'm assuming that you can't talk with us right now. So what I want to tell you right now is, or share with you right now, is if you would like further contact, I'm offering a free argument buster breakthrough call. Although I don't know that that's all arguments. It's kind of like more like unresolved issues breakthrough call. It's about 15-20 minutes, and I'm going to put in the chat the link to sign up for that. And you will be asked some questions so that we can make the best use of your time. And also for people who are listening to this recording, it's Meet with Dr. Dr. No period, Dr. Michelle with 2Ls.com. And there, as I said, there's a questionnaire. It's short, it's like 4 questions, but that will really help me to support you. So if you feel that you would like to have that additional, you will go away with at least one tool that will help you to move forward. Okay, so now what I want to know is what actions are you going to take as a result of what we talked about today? Because it is about action. Now we have awareness, we have connection to what's going on, we have some idea about what's happening. Now your body has spoken to you and has told you something. In order to develop that relationship with your body so that she trusts you, you need to take action to say, I heard you and I'm moving forward. So what I would like is for each of you to go ahead and either share verbally or share in the chat if you prefer, what action you're going to take at this point. And then what I would like you to do is to report in to me. Send me an email. I'm going to send you, whoops, I didn't even put that in there. Send me an email and let me know how it went. So starting with you, Olive, you can either put it in the chat or you can share. What action are you going to do?
Are you starting with me,
I am, yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Okay.
So what action
I think
are you
I
going to
said
take?
it.
Okay, so say it again.
I think yeah. I think it's that, to consider myself and that to trust myself and that I'm not alone.
Yes.
And that I can be empowered.
Okay. Okay. That's great. And I also want to point out that we inhabit these physical bodies. And these physical bodies have their own agenda. And they have patterns that are deeply ingrained, that have become so routine that we aren't even aware of them. And one of those patterns is that fear of being rejected. And not only do you have this as a biographical experience, but as human beings, we are highly sensitive to the responses of other people because we are wired to bond. We survive by our connections with other people. And this is deeply, deeply, deeply wired into our system. So when your son gives you a response that makes you feel less unimportant, that you made a mistake, what are you going to do right then?
I think I'm going to feel I'm going to feel that I'm okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I recommend for you is that you leave the situation for a little bit, because sometimes it's very hard for us to switch in
Uh,
the midst. Okay, so you
uh,
actually go off to the bathroom or outside into the garden, and you take
yeah,
a
yeah,
moment. Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I want
yeah,
to
yeah,
see, I want to hear
yeah.
from you. How did that work for you? Okay. All right. So
So you want me to get back to you, and you want me to get back to you and tell you how that
yeah,
works?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I put my email in there. You send me an email and
Yeah.
let me know. Why? Because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
holding you accountable.
Right,
Okay.
right, right.
Okay. So Jerry, how about you?
Well, because I have a busy lifestyle and schedule, I think I'm really going to stop and slow down and listen to where I felt a constriction around my heart and like tight lungs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pay attention to my body more
Yes.
and really take the deep breaths, and that should move me through some of my because I'm a rational person, but until I'm not.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Until the emotions, like, what is she showing up for again in my life? It's like, it's hard to be rejected when you're
It
such
is.
a wonderful giving, loving person like me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you have to remember that this goes back to early childhood experiences that
Yeah.
were precognitive and traumatic. And so that is what is being triggered when that kind of rejection happens. And I tell you, I mean, we've all lived through the teenage years and the loves and the love lost, and
Yeah, yeah.
they're pretty traumatic. You remember that they were pretty traumatic.
I
So
never had that.
oh, you
I
didn't.
left first.
Ah, I see. Well, what comes around goes around, or however it goes.
Oh, I'll
So
tell
there's
you, it's karma. It's here with you.
yeah.
But
You're operating.
the fact that my mother left at 11 months old and I never saw her again for 20 years, I think that probably fed into
You
a
think?
sense of abandonment. Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
think?
I didn't
Yeah,
think about it, but you helped me think about it.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So you have to give that a lot of space for that wounded child to heal.
Well, yeah, thank you. It's so much easier taking care of the rest of the world.
Yes, and that's right. It is easier taking care of the rest of the world. But here's the thing:
I'm
if you
good at it.
yes, and that makes you feel good, and people give you affirmation for that, and that makes you feel worthwhile and worthy. However, until you heal this, you're never going to be able to fully show up in a relationship as you
Yeah,
want to.
yeah, I know.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Got
Okay,
it.
going over to CJ. How about you? What's the action that you're going to take?
Well, I'm going to get aware. So what I do is there's various ways I become aware of what I'm doing in my life. And so I'm going to make it a habit now to become aware of what's going on in my body
Mm-hmm.
and to
That's good.
tune in.
That's good. Yes. So is there a practice that you could incorporate that would start to change that for you?
You mean like meditation or something?
Some daily practice that will really
Yeah,
because either you got to do it either one or two ways. Either you have an action that you take when you get triggered, or you have an action that you take every day, because that's the way in which you build the muscles. Changing the brain circuitry is just like developing new muscles in your body, and
right.
it requires repetition.
Okay. I don't have any practices per se. I just have my quiet time in the morning.
Okay, well, that could be a practice.
Yeah, good time to practice.
So you might want to check in with that sacral area.
Yes,
Okay.
I would.
Okay. You might want to, well, actually, if you want to have a conversation with me, I can share a few other ideas with you, because, I like always bring it over with ideas. So you're welcome to do that. So where are we? So now what I would like to know, we've got about 4 minutes left. Do you have any questions? What would you like to, I'm going to be doing these workshops like maybe about once a month. And is there another issue that you would like to address in terms of relationships? We've talked about the argument or the way in which people make you feel bad. And that's mostly what we're talking about is you feel bad. It's not arguments. None of you have talked about arguments. I'm the one who has the arguments. I guess it's part of my personality. But is there something else that you would be interested in talking about? Otherwise, I'll left to my own devices. I'll just come up with whatever interests me. Any ideas?
Well,
yes, Olive.
well, I like the issue of control. I think that anything about control.
Okay, great. Is that the control of others or you're trying to control?
No, it's I made it certainly looks like other people are trying to control me.
Yes.
But maybe as we've talked about, I'm floundering trying to control myself.
Yes, and you are also trying to control other people. I want you to really start to think about how it is that you are trying to please and because pleasing is a very manipulative, when you're doing it to get a response from somebody else, that is a manipulation. It's a very effective manipulation. It's often received very positively, but it is a manipulation. Because what you're doing is you're putting all of your worth, your self-worth, into somebody else's hands. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you want to change that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else got any takeaways? How was this today? Yes, Jerry, go ahead.
As I was listening to everybody and you, Michelle, and processing, because the brain can process thoughts real fast, my patterns, I just now becoming aware that I really am a people pleaser and I get great feedback from my clients and that carries over. I look for approval in others. So my behaviors are really about seeking approval and, it's like, if they know how I really am, or nobody will like me. So I'm generous. I buy things for people. And I don't really feel that people would really like me for me or love me for just being me.
Exactly. And
So
that
was
is,
insight.
yeah. So that is that's where the rubber hits the road. When you start to feel empowered yourself that you no longer need their approval. That the reason that you do the work is not to get their approval, but because that is your life purpose.
And I can do it. I mean, I'm on boards. I'm a leader in
absolutely,
the community.
Absolutely.
I get written about, and but I just realized that I work hard at getting things done for other people.
Yes.
Other organizations, my clients.
Yes.
And
so I totally relate to that because I have admitted to you that I started out as a people pleaser, and it's a dynamic that I work with all the time. I belong to Toastmasters. CJ, you know about Toastmasters. Toastmasters can suck all of your life out of you if you let it, because there are a million opportunities for you to please people and to get accolades and approval and awards and recognition. And you can really go down, that slide if you let it. And so at a certain point, you have to say, well, am I doing it for the awards? Or am I doing it because I'm growing myself?
Right.
Am I doing this because I am becoming more empowered? Am I doing it because I'm getting paid and I'm empowering other people? And that is what I'm here to do. CJ, you have any final comments? Because we are going to close.
This was great, Michelle.
Thank you.
I like your processing and how you formulated the hour. And I really like your subject matter.
Thank you.
It's really a bad time right now for people in relationships.
It is. It can be very, very challenging. I've heard from a number of clients and would-be clients that they are struggling with exactly this problem of being stuck in a house now with a whole bunch of people instead of most people going to work or going to school and not being around and not having enough space for themselves. But I see that that's not a problem with any of you, so we may have to save that for another time when people are ready to hear about that. Thank you so much for showing up today. It was really a delight to be of service. And although you did share verbally, that is going to be in the recordings, but I don't have your video. So I hope that's okay. Is that okay with you? Everybody okay with that?
Mhm.
Great. All right. You have an awesome day and an awesome weekend.
Thank
And
you, Michelle.
you're welcome.
you.
See you
Bye,
next time.
everyone.
Bonnie, if you have any questions or if you want to reach out to me, that goes for you too, okay? All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.